So, good afternoon. Here we are, day one still, everybody, all our fans out there. And what we're going to do now, I'm really pleased to welcome to our stand Sarah. Sarah is at Elston Hall Learning Trust Technology Lead, and you are also working with the Department of Education Demonstrator School Programme. So we're really interested to hear a lot of what you're doing and how you're helping education, and how we can share that with a wider community. So thank you for coming along, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Peter. It's great to be here. So my name's Sarah Morgan. I am assistant head teacher at Feasey Park Farm Primary School, which is part of Elston Learning Trust. We are an EdTech demonstrator school, which means we were selected by the DFE to offer support to other schools nationwide, and we are now in our second year of doing that, and the support that we've given to schools is part of the journey that I want to share with us today. So just to tell you what we're going to be covering today, we're going to have an introduction to the EdTech demonstrator programme, just so I can tell you a little bit about it and how you yourselves will be able to sign up for this free funded support that's funded by the DFE. I'll then share a snippet of the history of the programme and just tell you some of the impact and the outcomes that we've had there. We can then look a little bit more at how the EdTech demonstrator can specifically support individual schools and their needs. And then I thought, linked with that, we need to look at the curriculum, the professional curriculum development opportunities that are available. And then I will go through on how you can sign up for this programme, and we can do that today for you, if that's of help. So the EdTech Demonstrator Programme, as I've mentioned, it is a free national peer-led programme. I think the best way to describe this programme now is that it's school-to-school support. It's something that's happening in a school which has been selected by the DFE, and we're able to share with other schools nationwide. And you get that true collaboration. So what is going on in the classroom that day, we can then share with a wider audience. It was developed by the Department for Education to ensure that schools out there had free expert advice. There's lots of advice available, but it's reassuring for schools to know that we've been accredited with this, so we're there able to offer. And we've also been audited ourselves. The programme was launched just prior to the COVID pandemic, and obviously we've been through that journey, and it has shaped the support that we've offered, and I will share that with you today because I think it's important for schools to understand the journey that the programme and schools nationwide have been on. We are currently coming to the end of its second year. However, schools are able to sign up now for the programme, and we will be able to support you free funded support for up to 30 hours over the summer term, and I urge schools to do so and make use of that. So the journey so far, as I've mentioned, the first round of the demonstrator support did focus on that crisis response, and we were helping schools with getting remote learning mainly out to the children. I think back now when we've all been on that journey, and some of the conversations that I had with head teachers and that emotional surge of duty of care really we had as schools to give the children the education that they wanted. We're really proud to have been part of that. We have built up some really trusted relationships, and at times through that support we've had to reach out to our partners, our industry partners, who can offer high quality support for the people that we're working with. We do share a lot of the areas ourselves. We've done something and we've shared it. However, we haven't got all the answers, and that's where industry plays such a vital role in how we're going to move technology in schools forward. And we've got to make sure we've got those trusted relationships with industry. Moving on now to the second round of the demonstrator programme, which is what we're currently in. The approach changed. Rather than us being a reactive body of support to the schools, we're now proactive, and we're helping them to try and dig down onto what they actually want to offer their children. We help build a vision. We help see what's possible, and it is still through the same peer-to-peer approach. It's designed to help schools create a structured approach, and as I've said, it's the vision to a long-term success. We all know that technology changes rapidly. However, the recipe for success does not, and I'm going to look at those core elements shortly. Part of the Demonstrator School programme focus is the 5 key areas listed there. We focus on helping schools recover from the crisis and see how we can move forward. Massive focal point at the moment is teacher workload, and even though we're coming to the other side of what's happened over the last 2 years, we know schools today have got teacher shortage. They've got teachers at home isolating, they've got children isolating. Workload is key, and we look at how technology can help with that. We do dig down deep and we look at school improvement plans. It's got to be an improvement plan across the school to enable the EdTech embedment. We look at resource management, which looks at whether the resources that you want are fit for purpose, whether you're getting the most out of your investment. And again, that's where we reach out to industry. And we do also look at the accessibility and the inclusivity of the tech that's used to ensure that that's rolled out across the curriculum to support all learners. So an example of the work that we're currently undertaking, we are auditing, and I think this is key. We work with schools to audit what they have got currently, and there is a wealth of brilliant practice out there. And we help schools see that, because sometimes when you're the one in the middle of doing it, when you're that teacher who's spinning lots of plates, you don't have time to stop and reflect. But actually, by us giving you time and working together, we can look at the great practice. It also highlights if there's any areas that we need to help focus on. And it could be the infrastructure, it could be the CPD or lack of it for a school. And we look at what we can do. From that, we move into action planning. And prioritising, those are linked, and that's something we've got experience of doing. Sometimes it can feel like a massive mountain to climb, because you know that you've got lots to do and you're not sure which order to do them in and which plate to spin first. But let us, the EdTech Demonstrator Programme, let us help you do that. We can help you action plan. We could plan out an immediate response so you can see what's happening right now, what's the urgent part of it. And also we can help you build a 4-year plan to go forward, to make the most out of your investments. We demonstrate what's happening in our school. But now, as the programme is moving into its 2nd year, we've also got schools that we've supported demonstrate to each other. So we found pockets of absolutely fantastic practice. And we know that school to school to sport is what works really, really well. And now we've got schools helping each other. We have created a range of resources and guides and videos. And we've also looked at staff CPD. Now, this is the point where I think schools nationwide need to take a little bit more of a focus on, because we can have the greatest kit, we can have flat panels, we can have devices in all the classrooms, but we know historically if teachers do not know how to use them, they will not get used. So I think the investment in training and making sure that the staff are confident users can help our children get the most out of that investment. So we've delivered numerous staff meetings and inset days, and we've also made some really good connections, and we'll look at that in a little bit later on. We pride ourselves in supporting schools from all starting points. Some of the schools that we've worked on are at the very, very start of their journey. They're not quite sure where they're starting from or where they want to go to, and that's fine. We can help, we can work with you, and we can show you the possibilities. We've also worked with some schools who are at the top end and they're further along their journey, and that's where we can really get a collaborative element together, and we work to each other, push each other along. We are a Microsoft Showcase school, and that has enabled us to share what we've done with Microsoft to other schools as well. So just going back to the creating connections, I think this part is vital for us to engage and continually keep engaging, so we can have peer-to-peer support, Schools can work with us as a demonstrator school. However, schools can also, once they've joined the programme, learn from each other. So school-to-school support. We'll then move on to school and industry connections. And this is where industry steps in to help. And ViewSonic has done that on numerous occasions through the EdTech demonstrator programme. We've worked with schools across the nation, and several have had investments made, but they maybe haven't had the CPD that's needed. What we've done is to be able to connect those schools to ViewSonic, who have provided that quality CPD. Not only do they get it there and then to help them to get it started, but what's more important is that a long-term relationship has been created, that rolling support. Staff do leave, you do need more training, software updates. So what we've got now is a partnership between the schools and industry to make sure the staff are really at the forefront of knowledge. And I think that is because of the quality of the industry partner and the schools working together. And we made that connection through the EdTech demonstrator programme. So I thought from the experiences that I've had, I might share some of the top tips for implementing the use of technology. This is what we found. So if you're a school who's thinking, where do I start? My top tip to you is to identify a starting point. And you can do that using an audit tool, a self-review framework. NACE, for example, do offer one, and I urge all schools to have a look at that as a starting point. Research as well, to give the quality to anything that you do. Have a look what's out there. Have a look at case studies of what's been working well. Industry partners who are there to reassure you will be able to share with you success stories. Ask for the success stories before you make that investment. Ask them to show you what has worked well and how it has worked. From identifying the starting point and using the research and using the EdTech Demonstrators programme to support you, you can then create a vision. The vision is to be created by a group of people, all stakeholders who are involved in that school, everybody who's going to have a positive impact on it. From the vision, you also need to take into account the budget, okay, because we know there's got to be an investment somewhere. But by looking at budgeting and with the vision being the focus, you can make the budgets work. We did that. We started 7 years ago, and we didn't have technology. We're now an EdTech demonstrator school, who is a Microsoft Showcase school, and we did that with really tight budgeting. Give yourselves time. It's not an overnight fix. It's rolling out something to do with EdTech. For it to really work, for you to get an embedded culture, you need to give yourselves time, you need to give the staff time, and another tip, you need to give the parents time. For this to work, if you've got the parents on board, it's going to work a whole lot smoother. Trust your partners. I've mentioned this several times, but really think about the industry partner that you want to work with. Ask them for case studies, as I've said. Ask them for the long-term relationship that will come out of it. You don't want somebody who's just going to put you flat panels up. You want somebody who's going to put you flat panels up and ensure you know how to use them for every update that comes. They're going to be there to help you at every stage of the journey. Choose wisely. Further on from that, quality CPD. If you expect your staff to use the tech, make sure you give them the CPD that they need to be able to do so. Clear communication across your school. If everybody knows which journey we're going in, if everybody knows the vision and the vital role that their little piece plays in the jigsaw, it's going to move along a lot more seamlessly. If you can create an action plan, which is something we could do as part of the EdTech Demonstrator programme, include a timeline, make it really specific. You might not hit every timeline margin, that's okay, it can be an adjustable one, but do have something to work from. And also identify key roles, key players within the vision, and be mindful that succession planning is needed there. You do need to think about staff movement and making sure that you've got somebody who can also do that role and move in should the time be needed. So I do feel that it's a duty of school leaders to ensure that professional development is effective. If it's not effective, the technology that you've invested in, that huge investment, is not going to be made the most of, and none of us want to see that. And obviously, the effectiveness of it will connect the pupils and the teachers, looking after their well-being, 'cause I've already mentioned teacher workload being critical. Let the teachers know that their well-being is key by giving them the professional development that they need. Through that, you will get school improvement, you will get outcomes rising, and continue to drive forward. I think making an investment is more than just a monetary one. You've got to invest the time, you've got to believe in your staff, and you will do that by the quality of CPD. This will help address pupils' attainment, and it will also support the development of staff and their well-being as well. So the CPD and the other support that we do offer, and schools are able to sign up right here, you've got the QR code there for you to do so. It is DFE funded, it is free support for all schools through the summer term. You can sign up now and I can connect with you tomorrow. We can have a look at your starting point. We can audit and find out what works well for you, and also which areas you might want to push a little bit more on. We can help, we can advise. We are part of the Elstone Learning Trust, and we are developing a digital learning programme. This is where we are creating a programme for the leaders within school, EdTech leaders who might have only just been put into this role. EdTech has been used and is being used across schools in a way that it never has been before. We're kind of at that turning point. We could stop or we could push on. But I think for us to really push on, we need to invest in our leaders, in our EdTech leaders across the school, get them some CPD, get them understanding what needs to be happened to create a vision, and we can support there. For anything to happen, it's not a one-person job. You can't have one person in that school driving this forward. It's got to be a team approach. So I think by having some training for the subject leaders, for your history leader, for your maths leader, and across the whole foundation subjects, they can help to create a pull culture. At the moment, we've got a push culture. The push culture is where EdTech is being pushed at teachers across the schools. If we can flip that and create a pull culture where the geography lead is asking the EdTech lead what technology is going to work here, if somebody else can show others, like peer-to-peer support within a school, I think that's where you'll really get a true collaborative approach. Computing curriculum support. This is an area that schools constantly ask us for support with. This is something that we can offer. And we've also got a bronze, silver and gold bespoke support package. This is where we can undertake that audit. We can have a look at your starting point. We can help you identify an action plan, a vision. We can point you and link you to industry partners who are reputable, who will be there for you for the whole of your journey with them. They're not just somebody who's going to install some hardware and walk away. We've got ViewSonic, who have done that in many of our schools that we've worked with across the EdTech demonstrator programme. They've formed these lasting relationships. And if you've got that, then you've got quality for a long time to come. So we are Feasy Training. We are an EdTech demonstrator school. We have worked with ViewSonic in many of our schools, and they continue to grow their relationships with the schools that we've worked with. If anybody's got any questions, or if anybody's wants to have a chat afterwards, please come and talk to me. But it's been wonderful to speak to you today. Thank you.